Welcome to UG Chapters of English, affiliated to BCU, FOSSEM BCA. Yet another chapter, Untouchability is Worse Than Slavery, written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Before we start the lesson, let's do some brainstorming. Can you think of various forms of discrimination operating in the world? Is caste discrimination prevalent in India? Give examples. Have you come across any instances of untouchability? Why is it the worst form of discrimination? And right now, there is a hot topic of discrimination going on, and that is racial discrimination. Is our society discrimination free? Should it be? Discuss on these points to brainstorm more. Let's know more about the author. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was born on 1891 and died 1956. He is one of the tallest intellectual political leaders in the mainstream socio discourse of modern India. He was a pioneer intellectual in the study of caste and untouchability. He dwelt into such details that with all their possible and conceivable dimensions, he fought caste discrimination at all given levels: social, political, economic, and educational. His seminal work, Annihilation of Caste, is both an illuminative as well as a redemptive text. Ambedkar used his writings and lectures to confront a world of indifference and betrayal in order to pursue his reformative agenda, only paralleled by Gandhi. The prescribed text throws light on how slavery is better than untouchability. Text. Let's know more about the lesson and what are the points discussed in the lesson. Text. Slavery, it must be admitted, is not a free social order, but can untouchability be described as a free social order? The Hindus who came forward to defend untouchability no doubt claim that it is. They, however, forget that there are differences between untouchability and slavery, which makes untouchability a worse type of an unfree social order. Slavery was never obligatory, but untouchability is obligatory. A person is permitted to hold another as his slave. There is no compulsion on him if he does not want to, but an untouchable has no option. Once he is born an untouchable, he is subject to all the disabilities of an untouchable. The law of slavery permitted emancipation. Once a slave, always a slave was not the fate of the slave. In untouchability, there is no escape. Once an untouchable, always an untouchable. The other difference is that untouchability is an indirect and therefore the worst form of slavery. A deprivation of a man's freedom by an open and direct way is a preferable form of enslavement. It makes the slave conscious of his enslavement, and to become conscious of slavery is the first and most important step in the battle for freedom. But if a man is deprived of his liberty indirectly, he has no consciousness of his enslavement. Untouchability is an indirect form of slavery. To tell an untouchable you are free, you are a citizen, you have all the rights of a citizen, and to tighten the rope in such a way as to leave him no opportunity to realize the ideal is a cruel deception. It is enslavement without making the untouchables conscious of their enslavement. It is slavery, though it is untouchability. It is real, though it is indirect. It is enduring because it is conscious, unconscious. Of the two orders, untouchability is beyond doubt the worst. Neither slavery nor untouchability is a free social order. But if a distinction is to be made, distinction between the two, the test is whether education, virtue, happiness, culture, and wealth is possible within slavery or within untouchability. Judged by this test, it is beyond controversy that slavery is 100 times better than untouchability. In slavery, there is room for education, virtue, happiness, culture, or wealth. In untouchability, there is none. Untouchability has none of the advantages of an unfree social order such as slavery. It has all the disadvantages of a free social order. In an unfree social order such as slavery, there is the advantage of apprenticeship in a business or art, or what Professor Muir calls an initiation into a higher culture. Neither the crushing of untouchability nor the refusal of personal growth was necessarily inherent in slavery, especially slavery as it existed in Roman Empire. It is therefore over hasty to say that slavery is better than untouchability. This training, this initiation of culture was undoubtedly a great benefit of the slave. Equally, it involved considerable cost to master to train his slave, to initiate him into culture. There can have been little supply of slaves educated or trained before enslavement. The alternative was to train to those when young slaves in domestic work or in skilled craft, as was indeed done to some extent before the empire by Cato the Elder, for example. The training was done by his owner and his existing staff. Indeed, the household of the rich contained special pedagogue for this purpose. Such training took forms, industry, trade, arts, and letters. The reason why the master took so much trouble to train the slave and to initiate him in the higher forms of labor and culture was undoubtedly the motive of gain. A skilled slave as an item was more valuable than an unskilled slave. If sold, he would fetch better price. If hired out, he would bring in more wages. It was therefore an investment to the owner to train his slave. In an unfree social order such as slavery, the duty to maintain the slave in life and the body falls upon the master. The slave was relieved of all responsibility in respect of his food, his clothes, and his shelter. This entire the master was bound to provide. This was, of course, no burden because the slave earned more than his keep. But a security for boarding and lodging is not always possible for every free man, as all wage earners know now to their cost. Work is not always available even to those who are ready to toil, and a workman cannot escape the rule according to which he gets no bread if he finds no work. This rule, no work, no bread, has no applicability to the slave. It is the duty of the master to find bread and also to find work. If the master fails to find work, the slave does not forfeit his right to bread. The ebbs and tides of business, the booms and depressions are vicissitudes through which all free wage earners have to go. But they do not affect the slave. They may affect his master, but the slave is free from them. He gets his bread, perhaps the same bread, but bread whether it is boom or whether it is depression. In an unfree social order such as slavery, the master is bound to take great care of the health and well-being of the slave. The slave was the property of the master, but this very disadvantage gave the slave an advantage over a free man, being property and therefore valuable. The master, for sheer self-interest, took away great care of the health and well-being of the slave. In Rome, the slaves were never employed on marshy and malarial land. On such a land, only free men were employed. Cato advises Roman farmers never to employ slaves on marshy and malarial land. This seems strange, but a little examination will show that this was quite natural. A slave was a valuable property, and as such a prudent man who knows his interest will not expose his valuable possession to the ravages of malaria. The same care need not be taken in the case of a free man because he is not valuable property. This consideration resulted in the great advantage of the slave. He was cared for as no one was. Untouchability has none of the three advantages of the unfree social order mentioned above. The untouchable has no entry in the higher arts of civilization and no way open to a life of culture. He must only sweep. He must do nothing else. Untouchability carries no security as to livelihood. None from the Hindus is responsible for the feeding, housing, and clothing of the untouchable. The health of the untouchable is the care of nobody. Indeed, the death of an untouchable is regarded as a good redundance. There is a huge Hindu proverb which says, "The untouchable is dead and the fear of pollution has vanished." On the other hand, untouchability has all the disadvantages of a free social order. In a free social order, the responsibility for survival in the struggle for existence lies on the individual. This responsibility is one of the greatest disadvantages of a free social order. Whether an individual is able to carry out this responsibility depends upon fair start, equal opportunity, and square deal. The untouchable, while he is a free individual, had neither fair start nor equal opportunity nor square deal. From this point of view, untouchability is not only worse than slavery but is positively cruel as compared to slavery. In slavery, the master has the obligation to find work for the slave. In a system of free labor, workers have to compete with workers for obtaining work. In this scramble for work, what chances has the untouchable for a fair deal? To put it shortly, in this competition, with the scales always waving against him by reason of his social stigma, he is the last to be employed and the first to be fired. Untouchability is cruelty as compared to slavery, but it throws upon the untouchable the responsibility for maintaining himself without opening to him fully all the ways of earning a living. To sum up, the untouchables, unlike the slaves, are owned by the Hindus for purposes which further their interests and disowned by them. When owning them places under burden, the untouchables can claim none of the advantages of an unfree social order and are left to bear all the disadvantages of a free social order. Try to read from the volume 5 of BAWS. Before we wind up, let's have some pointers here. The social order in a place is the way the society is organized. Slavery is not a free social order, untouchability a worse type of an unfree social order. Slavery was never obligatory, untouchability is obligatory. To sum up, the untouchables, unlike the slaves, are owned for purposes which further their interests and are disowned them. When owning them places them under burden. The untouchables can claim none of the advantages of an unfree social order and are left to bear all the disadvantages of a free social order. In conclusion, untouchability is cruelty as compared to slavery because it throws upon the untouchables the responsibility for maintaining without any way of earning his living. From another aspect also, untouchability is worse than slavery. The slave was property and that gave the slave an advantage over a free man. Signing off, Alianas. Stay home, stay safe.